Hey, good morning. Chillie Falls here for today's broadcast. This is June the 18th. It's 10 o'clock. We're doing things a little bit different as we try to keep getting things better. We've got a new camera, which we're trying today. I had all kinds of difficulties getting the silly thing hooked up, my lack of technical skills. Um, Today's official title, at least, if you want to call it that, um, deals with Carnival Cruise Line's new restaurant, which is open as we speak on the new Carnival Sunrise. Um, the information that I have on it is the totally transformed Carnival Sunrise is the first in the Carnival Cruise Lines to feature a new casual and authentic Asian venue called the Lucky Bowl. It'll be located within the marketplace and within the buffet. It's a free of charge restaurant. It's part of their extension $200 million renovation project on the Carnival Sunrise. Sunrise is the first. This new concept will replace the former Mongolian wok, which has been on numerous carnival ships for some years now, and that was the main Asian venue, if you want to call it that, on most of the ships. And now it will be the Lucky Bowl. They have three different menu items each day, and you can stop by in the middle of the ship someplace, and you can order it ahead of time if you want, and it'll be ready for you when you get in. But it's all part of the buffet. It's called the Lucky Bowl, replacing the Mongolian wok. So some new Asian food for you Carnival fans out there. As most of you know, I've been a Carnival guy most of my life. I started off with Carnival and stayed with them through thick and thin. So looking forward to trying that the next time I go on a Carnival cruise. Now, we do have some other things that we want to discuss today. There's apparently some problems on the Cayman Islands. The Cayman Islands new cruise port may not be built. There's a petition that's filed to trigger a national referendum. The petition was filed with the governor's elections office in the Cayman Island and signed by the required 25% of all eligible voters. Upon verification of the signatures, a national referendum will be put on the ballot as to whether or not to build this massive dock for the cruise ships. Now, those of you that have been to Cayman Islands, if you've sailed anywhere in the Western Caribbean, you've been to the Cayman Islands. And it's been for ever since the cruise ships have been going there, you're tendered in, which means that if you hit bad weather or windy days, you can't tender, so you miss out on the port. I've missed out on Cayman Islands twice, once due to a hurricane and once due to bad weather that day. The cruise ships bring a lot of money into the Cayman Islands, but apparently it's gotten too big. And the local residents are vastly opposed to it. I think this would increase the daily passenger level to somewhere up in the vicinity of 17,000. Now but currently it's between 7,000 to 10,000, and they think that's too much. So anyway, apparently the citizens of the Cayman Islands are fighting it. I really, I don't know that much about the situation there. And being a businessman, I'd want more people if possible, but apparently that's not necessarily the case. So I really don't have any advice or ideas on that. Just letting you know that that's in the makings, and it's maybe changing things as we get on toward the construction date in the Caymans. The other problem that I mentioned it one day last week, I think Thursday maybe, the propulsion issues with the Carnival Vista, which has caused some changing of itinerary plans, and that apparently has become a much bigger issue than we first thought. Carnival has now altered the June 22nd sailing. That's later this week. What, Thursday maybe is the 22nd, which is the second sailing now that's been changed because of the propulsion issue. They have are now, let's see what it says here. We've already posted about the second itinerary, delayed embarkation from the June 15th sailing. The cruise line they sent out, Carnival sent out another letter concerning the June 22nd sailing out of Galveston. And they said an assessment of the ship's maximum cruising speed was completed on June 15th, and as a result, the sailing was extended from a 7-day itinerary to an 8-day. So they've changed from a 7-day to an 8-day, which means their other schedule on beyond that's going to be off, and they're going to have to make some changes on that. I'm not sure. This is confusing to me. Anyway, the bottom line is we know that there's a second sailing date is affected by this propulsion issue. Apparently, they could not complete it at sea, the repairs as they had planned. Little sip of Diet Coke for everybody, in case you're wondering. The other thing on the agenda today, and I saw this, a lot of you people are crazy about Alaska cruises. And I mean, it's clearly this time of year, of course, it's very popular and a major portion of the cruise industry. Alaska Dream Cruises, and quite frankly, folks, this is not one that was right on the tip of my tongue. Alaska Dream Cruises is using its new ship, the Kruzof Explorer, to push further into Alaska with new itineraries for the 2020 season, featuring the most remote edges of Southeast Alaska, such as communities of, and forgive my pronunciation, folks, Klaywak, Yakutat. Other ports of call include Pelican, Latuya Bay, Doll Island, and Baranof Warm Springs. Now, that's not quite the itinerary stops that I'm used to with Juneau and Ketchikan and Skagway and Anchorage. So they're going to some different places. Now, this ship itself is a 12-guest expedition vessel. So if you guys think it's you don't like the crowded big cruise ships, in boy, here's you an out. 12-guest expedition vessel. It offers a large outer deck for wildlife viewing, comfortable staterooms, and it goes on for the usual selling thing. And folks, it's expensive. You're probably looking, depending on the length of cruise and so forth, you're upwards to at 10 grand. But it goes into some, probably what's some really cool places in Alaska that we're not used to. So those of you that really want something totally out of the way, something totally different, let me know and I'll get you some information on it. It's going to be a little on the expensive side. Okay, the Panama Canal has published a proposal to modify its current toll structures with what will most likely mean an increase for cruise ships. The proposal covers passenger, dry bulk, container ships, and vehicle carrier and ROFO segments, as well as tankers, chemical tankers, LPG and LNG vessels, the intramaritime cluster, and minimum tolls, which is small vessels. The announcement marks the beginning of a 30-day formal consultation period for industry feedback, which will close July the 15th. The bottom line, folks, looks like they're starting the legalities to raise rates, and part of that, as far as cruise ship goes, is they are trying to go to a per passenger fee as opposed to a per ship fee, which is going to increase the amount of money it costs the cruise lines to go through the Panama Canal, whether it's partial or full sailing. So look for those costs on Panama Canal cruises to go up. That's probably going to happen sooner rather than later. But anyway, that's, I guess we'll know something more official on it after July 15th, when this consultation period is over. But basically, that toll structure is going to change. So if you guys are, any of you guys are going on a Carnival ship, don't forget the new Asian restaurant. The what's it called? The salad, not the salad bowl. The my mind went blank. Lucky Bowl. Lucky Bowl. That's the new restaurant on Carnival ships. Okay, if you're new to this channel, we are here live on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 10 o'clock. And we can talk about anything to do with cruises or travel industry. Today is Tuesday, which is my normal day for cruise industry news. And we've kind of combined the cruise industry news on Tuesdays with Chillie Chats, which will be coming up with guests some days. And some days just to sit and talk about topics and subjects and whatever. Keep in mind, folks, I am not an employee of any cruise line or travel agency. I can book cruises similar to the way you do. I mean, I have a couple agents that I use for actually the ticketing purposes, but I do book cruises for people, and then I quarterback the deal for you. You got somebody that stays on top of everything you need to do and follows you all the way through till you get home. So if you ever want to go on a cruise, feel free to contact me. I keep a little website going, which is not by any stretch of the imagination a complete website on cruises, because I'm a single guy, one-person operation, and it takes time to keep the prices changed on cruises, which is an ongoing daily thing. So, you know, I keep adding more cruises and to it all the time, and adding ships to it all the time. But so it's something for you to you might want to check in on. I generally have, if I've talked specifically about a cruise, there'll be a link down in the description. And if you look at the description on the video, which will be, you know, down there someplace, if you're watching this later, you'll find that there are several links in there to my Facebook group, to Twitter, to Instagram, of course, my Amazon link. If any of you guys want to do any shopping on Amazon, there's a little link down there that you can plug into and go to Amazon to shop for literally anything. And I make a few pennies to help support the channel. So if you ever want to use that, feel free to. It's a link. I think it's a link to a travel bag, and then you can go from there to anywhere else, and I get a little, a few pennies. So I would always appreciate that. So anyway, I'm here Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. We can talk about anything to do in the cruise or travel industry. And specifically on Tuesday's cruise industry news. We also mentioned if there's anything new and hot, we'll mention it on other days as well. So that's about it for today. This is Chillie Falls, the Fat Travel Guide. I hope the new camera and audio worked well. It looks like it from this standpoint. Of course, I won't know until I actually hit the replay on this myself. But anyway, and keep in mind, folks, if you're going on Carnival, the new Lucky Bowl on Carnival Cruise Line, which is now open on Carnival Sunrise and will be on other Carnival ships as soon as they go into the next dry dock. So that's it for today. We'll see you on Thursday at 10 a.m. This is Chillie Falls. Later, y'all.